today are struggling with how to use agentic AI for their enterprise, workflows, for enterprise tasks, for enterprise goals, those kind of stuff. So that's like one of their like top of their mind, thought right now, that how do I use agentic AI in my enterprise? So that's why we thought let's do this webinar. We were getting a lot of questions from our enterprises, on this topic. So we thought, let's do it. So today's topic is all about agentic AI and agentic AI use cases in enterprises. I'm speaking from Bangalore, India. I don't know from which part of the country or the world are you joining, but wherever you are, I hope you are well versed. You basically the hype. A lot of AI hype around you, so you might be getting a lot of news. You might be getting a lot of information which might be difficult to digest, and our effort is to basically distill a lot of that, and give you something that we feel is what you should hear in AI kind of stuff. So that's basically the purpose of doing all this webinars is, and feel free to ask any questions. We like interactive sessions. More you ask, better we become, better you become, kind of stuff. So feel free to ask any questions you have. Now, before I start, this is the slide I want to show is that 2025 is the year of agentic AI, and that basically is everyone is saying that, and there you can say that there's a lot of hype, but there's of course a lot of substance in agentic AI, and I'll tell you as I take you further in the webinar, why I mean that actually truly this statement has a lot of meaning as we are entering into 2025. Now, 4 trillion of human employment market in US at least, and $300 billion of staff augmentation market. That basically is what these markets are going to see a huge transformation due to AI agents. There's a transformation happening from human full-time employees to digital full-time employees. There is already, people are talking the new Accenture kind of world. Companies will emerge in digital FTs kind of stuff. AI market is HR market, and that's a lot of people are saying that fundamentally because the way the agentic transformation is happening from human to agent, the market which AI agents are targeting is fundamentally HR market, and therefore digital labor basically is the new opportunity in the horizon. So few things for you to digest. Fundamentally, the way you have to look at it is that AI is looking at a lot of stuff in automation, and a lot of stuff in process automation, app automation, and human automation. So a lot of things are happening around that part. Now, this is basically the slide I thought I'll bring, that the productivity which is expected to come out of agentic AI is expected to be upwards of 7 trillion, of course, over the next decades. But that's basically is the unlocking of the productivity is what we are all expecting out of agentic AI, and that is something that I want to highlight. The third thing, basically, the third slide, basically, I wanted to show is this company called Cursor. Cursor is basically a coding AI agent. It basically helps you code, and it is today the fastest company to go from 1 million revenue to 100 million revenue, like 10 months, like within a year. So that's the kind of growth, and this is not just in Cursor. And I've heard from multiple companies of course, in US. Most of these companies are based out of US. That they are just tripling and doubling and 10 times more, and sometimes 100 times more revenue in just 1 year kind of stuff. So there's a huge scale up in revenue which is happening in these AI companies, and Cursor is a classic example, which is in the coding AI, and has like zoomed up in last 10 months from 1 million to 100 million kind of revenue. So that's one thing I just wanted to share, a data point, because as I said, 2025 is the year of agentic AI, and these are the proof points. These are not something, these are not valuations that we're talking about. These are the revenue that we're talking about, kind of stuff, right? So that's one data point I wanted to show. The another data point basically is from what industry is thinking. Like this is basically from a survey done in US, where enterprises were asked how much interest they have in agentic AI, and interestingly, 93% they said they are extremely or very interested in agentic AI. We're not talking about, I'm interested kind of stuff. Very, very interested in agentic AI. So 93% of the enterprises in US today are saying they're very, very excited about agentic AI. And that's a data point you should take home wherever you are, and try to think of it when so much of these enterprise interest is there. How can you leverage that in whatever business you are doing, kind of stuff, right? And monitoring and automation of workflows is the focus for these enterprises. They want to monitor. One of the challenges a lot of these enterprises struggle with is, I don't know what is happening in my enterprise from a workflow perspective. This workflow is happening, that workflow is happening. So monitoring, getting the insights also from these workflows is something they're very, very, I would say, excited and interested in, with respect to data coming out of that, analytics coming out of that, monitoring, and the automation of the workflows, right? So which means that whatever am I doing, if I'm taking data, so most of the automation is around data and actions, right? That basically is how most of the enterprise workflows work. So you may be taking data from Slack, from Notion, from your MySQL database, from your, you can say Snowflakes, your Salesforce, your SAP, wherever the data is, you're doing something on the data. Then you're doing some kind of processing, verification, transformation, whatever you're doing, and then you're doing some kind of action. It might be a ledger entry, it can be you're sending an email to someone, kind of stuff, right? So automation of all that is fundamentally is the biggest use case that these enterprises are saying, and that's where we are focused as Plaus.ai. We basically working on creating agentic AI workforce infrastructure, so that enterprises can create digital fleet of AI agents, and deploy them, monitor them, create them, kind of stuff, right? So that's why we have a lot of interest in these workflows from infrastructure perspective. But 58% are saying that they are looking to monitor, they're interested in monitoring of these workflows, and about 52% are saying that they want to automate these workflows, right? So these are data points you should take again, chew them and understand them, because these are very, very interesting data points in my view. And then security is the biggest issue. So if you're looking at enterprises, if you're building something for enterprises, you cannot ignore security. That's fundamentally first thing that you have to plan for, design, bake into your product, grounds up, right? So security has to be there, baked in, grounds up, in your product or whatever solution you're building, and stuff, right? So that is the topmost concern enterprises have with respect to agentic AI. So 93% very, very interested in agentic AI. 58% are saying they want to know about more about analytics, and about 56% are saying that security is the biggest concern in agentic AI. Right. So that's some of the data points I thought I'll take you through. Now we basically just quickly tell you that we come into picture is we are enterprises partner in creating highly digital productive workflows, right? Productive digital workforce. Digital workforce is the key here. That these are not human workforce that we're talking about. This is a digital workforce. Digital labor is something that we are working on, and we're providing the infrastructure so that these digital workforce can be created, monitored, and deployed, and stuff, right? And there are a lot of benefits for enterprises because of that: productivity boost, customer experience boost, security boost, cost optimizations. And good part is we come into picture from a custom workflows perspective, which means that we work with we basically specialize in creating custom agents, agents which not standardized in nature, but very specific to enterprises. And also we have a service layer, which means that we will help monitor these agents remotely, or basically these are digital, so it can be monitored remotely. We can boot up them if they're down, those kind of stuff, right? So service layer is also something that we bring in with respect to Plaus.ai. So something that I wanted to highlight. I've done this AI agent webinar before. I pick few slides here from that webinar because I just want to give like a maybe a 2 to 3 minutes overview of what is an AI agent. I'm assuming a lot of you know about AI agent. If you know, just you may just relax for 2 3 minutes. But if you don't know, just listen to these 2 3 minutes about AI agents kind of stuff, right? So AI agent is fundamentally a digital human-like assistant, or you can think of it digital human-like. It's like human-like. And I'll tell you the traits of humans and how the traits of AI agent is something that we are building. We are basically taking the traits of human and putting them in AI agents kind of stuff. So a digital human-like assistant which takes a task, gets a task, and finishes the task, right? So whatever the task is given, sending the email, parsing the document, scanning the invoice, whatever the task may be for this agent is fundamentally working on that task, gets a task and finishes the task. That's fundamentally what it's doing. Now, from AI agent architecture, right? When you look at AI agent, these, in my view, that's, if they're customer facing, they have to communicate in local language, which means that they have to have senses like humans. Then they have to think. If they get some query, they have to think. What is the intent in this? Is it talking to me about searching? It's talking to me about fetching a ticket status? Is it talking to about order refund, or it's talking to about scanning the invoice? What is the intent here? So that's basically the intent detection in the query is also one of the important aspect of an agent. And orchestration based on the intent, which which agent to basically give, or how to orchestrate which function to which tool to call, is basically the orchestration part, right? It's basically saying that I got this intent, which is scan the invoice. So which means that I will call an invoice agent whom I will give this document, and then basically that agent will do scan the invoice, take out the structured response, and then basically give me that structured response that these are the names in the invoice, these are payment in the invoice, and those kinds of stuff, right? And then reasoning and planning and task action completion are fundamentally also something that is agents need to be able to do. Not really required, but if they're good that if they can reason and plan kind of stuff. If they're simple task, probably you don't need to put all these layers for reasoning and planning. But if it's a complex task, then planning has to be there. For example, it can be like plan shopping for my friend's wedding, right? It's like something like that. Then the agent has to think, okay, when is the friend's wedding, in which in which what type of wedding it is, like and what are my preferences, those kind of stuff. So it has to plan, then it has to search, it has to do some kind of uh, you know uh, shopping experience, and it has to do payment. So there's multiple planning that it has to do. So planning is something that is part of agent, any agent. And then task completion, maybe that buy the suit for me, or whatever, shoes for me, and those kinds of stuff is the task completion. Other things which makes the agent interesting is the memory, which that they need to be able to store my previous experiences, my preferences. So a short memory and long memory is something that we describe in agent, that they need to have memory. And then they have to reflect that if they did something wrong, they should be able to auto correct themselves. They should be able to somehow learn from the previous experience, and then not give the wrong answer, the wrong action, perform the wrong action. So reflection is also one of the very important part of an agent. And therefore, communication, ability to store memories, intent detection, reflection, planning and reasoning, task completion, these are something that an agent needs to be able to do. kind of stuff, right? Now these are, again, I've covered this in my previous webinars, but the multiple switches happening, like human is agent is replacing human from one side, the agent is replacing app from the other side. There's another switch which is happening is the process, the RPA, the robotic process automation, which was there. The process is getting replaced by agents. Those are multiple switches are happening where agents are replacing humans, apps, and process kind of stuff, and therefore creating this system of agents, which basically is not a single agent. In enterprises, you will not see single agent. It has to be multi-agent architecture. It has to be network of agent architecture, right? And that's where we wrote a paper, research paper, which we published, which is AgNet, a novel agent network architecture, in which we discussed how you can create a network of agents, using ATTP protocol, which is agent text transfer protocol, and those kind of stuff, right? So system of agents is a reality in any enterprises. You will have to think about how can I get a task done using multi-agent architecture, and that's basically something that you also all need to think about and stuff, right? And future enterprises, as I said, maybe this is like an extreme example, so you can take it with a pinch of salt, but this can happen in future, 5, 10 years, 20 years, whenever it is, that there's only single human who has created a very, very large unicorn company with only digital AI agents, right? So that's basically is another, where humans basically in some ways are getting replaced by agents. Then with this example where AI agent is orchestrating, where digital CBO, human CEO says to a digital CBO that reduce my losses by 10%. So the digital CBO then talks to the accounts AI agent, marketing AI agent, HR agent, and says what are your cost structures, okay, and can we reduce something in marketing, something in HR, and those kind of stuff, right? So that's basically is a multi-complex, multi-goal-based, you can say that, and sort of a workflow that a agent may need to do. Now, I talked briefly about how RPA, I don't know if any of you know RPA, but RPA is a huge industry. The big players are UiPath, Appian, Automation Anywhere, and others like Workato, MuleSoft. These also play, integration domain kind of stuff. So RPA is moving to agentic. So RPA is fundamentally, these are bots. They created very, very simple task they would do, but then they don't learn from themselves. They don't have sort of memories and those kind of stuff. They're not autonomous in nature. And so RPA is moving to agentic process automation. Robotic process automation is moving to agentic process automation. This is another big shift which is happening. May not be relevant to a few of you, but I thought I'll highlight that. So basically, what are the benefits of AI agents, right? AI agents are adaptive, which means they can learn, right? They basically conversational in nature, which means that I can talk to them in my local language using voice, right? That's an interesting thing, because to to do that, to be able to do that, a few years back would have been, very, very hard. But today it's very, very simple, when with the power of LLMs, that I can create conversational, voice-based, multilingual, some agents. So that's something that is a benefit of an AI agent. They are basically always on, which means that they don't sleep. Basically, they're 24/7 working. So that's one thing is good about digital AI agents, is that they don't sleep and they can work 24/7, and they're on demand, which means that I don't need to plan my hiring. I don't need to take interviews and those kind of stuff. I can just boot up more, or boot down more, if depending on seasons, requirement, traffic, whatever, sales uptick, whatever the thing, whatever the reason is, that you can basically boot up kind of stuff, right? So the very, very interesting benefits when it comes to enterprises is that it's cost efficient, they're scalable, they are on demand, they're basically always on, conversational in nature, they can adapt, they're dynamic, which means that they can actually work on real-time data, right? Which another interesting part about AI agents is that they can actually read unstructured data, which means that they can read your email, they can read your conversations in the chatbot, they can basically attend a meeting and understand what is happening. So it's a lot of unstructured data is something that these agents are able to do. So these are benefits of AI agents, which I wanted to highlight. Now coming to use cases, now there are, any industry you take, you know you would find that there are very interesting use cases which these agents have in whether you take retail, whether you take healthcare, whether you take manufacturing, whether you take energy and utilities, transportation, media entertainment. You can literally pick uh, you know interesting use cases there. For example, retail, search and recommendation, and this is where we have created an agent called Coach. Is that the search and recommendation is a very interesting use case. There, the shopping assistant actually can talk to you in your local language, and you can then search the product and those kind of stuff. Then in for example, in manufacturing, supply chain, inventory management, which means that predicting your inventory, then making sure your purchase orders are automatically created, those kind of stuff. If you have procurement there, then how do you create these RFQ kind of process, automated and those kind of stuff. So that's the interesting case studies there, where people have created something interesting. Whether you look at technology like SaaS industry, or if you're doing any B2B kind of sales, then soft these SDRs, which basically are AI SDRs, is what they call them, is also very interesting. Where these sales SDR is basically a sales development representative, and these SDRs are usually human in today, but they are basically now AI SDR, where these SDRs are just looking at taking the lead, then they are looking at whether this lead is relevant or not, so qualifying the lead, and then basically they will also do an outbound, or basically a reply to those emails. They might write a very personalized email, or they might even call automatically to these leads kind of stuff, right? So that's these are there are a lot of interesting case studies which are there, or use cases are there across industries, and even like one of the largest investment banker, I think it's Goldman Sachs, said that 90% of their IPO prospectus is now generated by AI, right? Only the 10% of the IPO prospectus is actually generated by or looked by human, which is a significant shift, right? With respect to how AI agents are playing role in that industry, which is that. So there's something about those agent use cases across functions, right? So we looked about industries, even in functions like you have a finance department, if you have HR department, if you have a marketing department, if you have merchandising department, if you have a customer support, AI agents are there in all the departments. So finance, basically invoice processing is a very interesting use case in finance, which means that I can take an invoice, which is, it can be PDF, it can come in my email, it doesn't matter if it has come by mail, the physical copy, it doesn't matter. The invoice is scanned, and automatically you get the whether this invoice is who has sent this, what is the payment, those kind of stuff, and you can then check whether there was a if there's a purchase order which was released for this invoice kind of stuff, right? So then you can check whether the purchase order and the invoice matches automatically, and if there's a discrepancy, send an email automatically to the vendor, whether that there's a discrepancy between purchase order and those kinds of. So there's a lot of interesting use cases that you can think of, where you are saying that whatever the process that sort of a human was doing, can an AI agent do, or can I do more with my current human team, right? So that's how you can think of AI agents. Whether it's like marketing, for example, creating an ad copy automatically, refining that copy based on the conversion and those kind of stuff. Whether it's merchandising, how to create a interesting homepage, and then depending on the season, Diwali is coming, Holi is coming, the homepage automatically is designed that way. Is another interesting case studies that you can from a function perspective, I'm saying, which is happening. Onboarding of vendor, onboarding of customer, employee onboarding is also an interesting use case. Customer support, vendor support, employee support, internal employee support is also interesting use cases that we have seen in variety of use cases, industries, I would say that. Now coming to the top 10 agents. Now this is something that we looked at, of what is happening from a use case perspective. What are the top 10 use cases in the world today, and we realized that these interesting top 10 use cases are there. Now you can think of that these are agents, and I can just highlight the first one, right, which is Janet, right? So you just think of it, Janet is working for you. She's a customer support agent. She works in retail industry, and her salary is $5,000 per year. I'm taking dollar, but you can convert that into rupees, or you can convert that into equivalent salary in India, from that perspective, right? So customer support today is, and this is some data that we have read, is that 50% of the use cases today are in customer support. Like AI is heavily going into customer support, and that is the industry which is like sort of being ripped apart right now with AI. I've heard from one of a friend who works providing a call center kind of software, that query deflection is more than 70%, which means that whatever the query is coming, the AI agents today are able to handle 70% of the query, you know, uh, without really needing any human intervention, right? This used to be like 20-25% before, right? So there's a huge jump, and that 70 will become 90, maybe become like 99, where these agents are themselves solving all the queries, because they have access to real-time data. They have access to all your policies. They have access to what are the Q&A, frequently asked questions. So they have access to all the data, and they can orchestrate depending on the query. Okay, let me fetch the ticket status, let you fetch the order status. Unlike in a human agent, they will have to read the email, then they have to go in different panels, then they have to type the order ID, see what if the order is refunded or not, and then type the email. All that is completely done by an AI agent, right? So AI agent 50%, market is today is customer support. So that is the topmost uh, use case that you can think of. If you're looking at building a support, internal support, if you are building an agent, so most of the use cases that I'm going to talk about, a product Grok basically supports, so you can create your custom agents. Some of these agents are simple enough, we can work with you to build kind of stuff, right? So most of the use cases that I'm talking about, Grok, which is a product that we launched, you can use that to create these agents kind of stuff, right? So customer support agent definitely is one possibility. Now coding agent is the second topmost use case right now, and about 25 to 30% of the market of AI agent is fundamentally on coding agent, and this is growing again crazy, in at least in US. A Cursor, the company which I showed in my third of second slide, Cursor is a coding agent company, and it is just, you can just see that they became like 100 million revenue company in just 10 months, right? That's the kind of interest is there in coding agents. So software, even in our company, a lot of software today we build using AI. So that's the shift we all are seeing. Maybe in your company you might be seeing that, but I'm hearing from my friends in US that a lot of their coding now is done by AI. So that's some fundamentally a second very interesting development which is happening, which you should be aware of. If you're not aware, that customer support coding is a big thing right now which is happening. The third one basically is, I want to highlight, is the sales part, and the whole B2B sales. Can be software sale, can be your B2B business in manufacturing. If you're selling some parts, auto parts, whatever you're doing, your sales agent can be AI agent, right? So that's another thing, that if you are doing B2B, is you have to start thinking that, how can I use AI for my lead generation, for my lead enrichment, right? For my qualification, for my outbound, sort of, you can say that, reply, the SDR reply, the SDR might give. So this Adam can do that, right? So Adam is completely capable of doing all these things. So again, SaaS industry is a big adopter of this right now, B2B software and those kind of stuff. So again, sales is a big use case. The companies like 11x, AI SDR, a lot of other things are there in US which are doing extremely well in this space, which I would suggest you check them out. Now, Sophia, so fourth biggest use case is your marketing, right? Marketing is basically, how do I create, for example, blogs, right? How do I create product, sort of, you can say, descriptions which are enriched? How do I create banners? How do I create my ad copies? How do I plan my, how do I create my, media planning, those kind of stuff, right? So marketing is again a very interesting use case, which is actually not, one, two, three, fourth one is the marketing. So Jasper, for example, is a big company in US. They're doing extremely well. They provide AI agents in marketing. You should check them out. Again, so marketing is another one. Multiple stuff there, which are interesting. Then HR. HR is interesting because, and this is primarily around how do I manage my internal employee queries with respect to HR. For example, it might be what my leave policy is. What is when is the next leave coming? Can I take these paid leaves, for example? So they are related to HR policy. If what are what is a termination notice and those kinds of stuff. So things like that, these HR agents can very simply answer. That's basically, and in any language, right? You don't need to be in English. You can these HR agents can speak in Hindi, Spanish, Russian. It doesn't matter which language, kind of stuff, right? And they also they can look at any approvals, right? For example, it might be that I traveled, and some kind of approval of reimbursement approval that I need to do, right? So these agents can handle that. I would suggest use, if you don't have an HR agent, you should look at a company in this space. Think I can think of Glean. Glean is not really an HR agent, but they are into internal employee support, and they're doing very well. They started in 2019, but in last couple of years, their revenue has grown to like 50-60 million dollars, or maybe more, just from like 10 million. So 5 to 10 times they've grown in less 2 years, kind of stuff, right? So Glean is another company you can look at in this space, which is interesting. One sec. Yeah. So these are the top five, customer support agent, right? So, and then coding, right? Third is sales. fourth is marketing, and fifth is HR, right? You can think of that, from that perspective. Now coming to the sixth one is finance agent, right? So Bella, she can basically, as I said, process invoices. She can do ledger entry. If you have accounts payable, she can handle AP. She can handle AR, which is accounts receivable. So she can do multiple stuff, right? And that basically means that my accounts can be automated, uh, you know, uh, you know, very much. I mean, just you can literally automate. If you look at process automation coverage point of view, you can automate more than 40-50% of your accounts using finance agent. Again, interesting from the perspective that accounts is usually very complicated stuff for a lot of folks, and better to automate it with an AI agent. Security compliance is another top use case right now. With respect to more about compliance, if I have this policy, is it compliant with let's say ISO 2000 20701 or something like that, or SOC 2, those kind of stuff. So compliance, if I you know if I have, for example, they can also detect your vulnerabilities. They can look at they can look at your cloud, and they can detect whether the cloud has certain things like buckets are public, or this MySQL database is has accessible to public IPs. All that basically sort of a security part that these agents can handle. Again, uh, something which you can look at from automation perspective. Analytics is huge, and that is something I am very excited about. We internally at plots.ai are looking at how we can enable analytics agent across different segments. So whether it's for our clients, for our internal employees, for me as a CEO, for even like specific departments like HR and those kind of stuff, how can we do analytics? Because analytics is such uh, from a enterprise perspective, you're so much blind to what is happening. And if these agents can tell me what is happening in my organization, that is nothing like it, right? So analytics is interesting use case that I would definitely ask you to try it. Make sure you have an agent whom you can bring on board for doing analytics across your different workflows, datas, process, and those kind of stuff, right? The legal agent is another one. Basically, you get a lot of contracts, whether these contracts are have the right termination clause, whether these contracts have the right confidentiality clause, whether these contracts abide with few specific clauses that you are looking for, right? So legal agent can come and basically look at your contracts from that angle, and say that this has this issue, this has this issue, and those kind of stuff. Company that I can think of in this space is Harvey. Harvey is a legal AI agent company in US, doing extremely well. Again, they have, I think they've raised more than $100 million or those kind of stuff. So most of these spaces have large companies have created already with 100, 200 million, $500 million kind of funding, in more than at least $50 million revenue in just last 1 to 2 years. So that's why VCs, venture capitalists, are very excited about these AI companies, because and 3 out of 4 companies in US today are funded in AI space. 3 out of 4, which means that 75% of the companies which are getting funded are AI companies in US, and that's like huge interest there because of all this revenue upliftment which they are seeing in AI companies, and primarily driven by AI agents kind of stuff. And healthcare agent is another one. Last but not the least, Noah can basically if you can ask any question related to your personal records, your personal health records, she can also guide you on specific symptoms. If there's she also somewhat can do some kind of disease detection, right? If you say that here is the, for example, acne that I have, and take a picture, and is there something I should be thinking about? How can I heal it, and those kinds of stuff. So, and patient care, if I'm in my if I'm in a hospital, I can ask what are the when to take my next pill, and when will I what was my last report, a blood report, and those kinds of stuff. So basically, you can healthcare is one of the biggest industries which will actually benefit from AI agents, at least in US, that we are seeing. What we are hearing there is that healthcare is a uh, big opportunity there, kind of stuff. So yeah, so basically that covers the top 10 agent use cases, sort of, that we could compile. Customer support again, coding, sales, marketing, HR, finance, security, analytics, legal, and last but not least, the healthcare kind of stuff, right? So that's basically the thing. I think I have few questions here, so I'll just quickly just complete uh, the next part, and then I'll come to the questions. One sec. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, so these are the companies. I've talked about some of the companies, but in sales and marketing and customer experience, finance and operations, human resources, engineering, data analytics, security, which are the some of the top companies in US. They are listed here, which you can look at the recording maybe, and then go through them in your free time, whenever you're looking at this recording. But I thought I'll give a sort of a overview of these companies, given that we talked about these use cases currently. And this is basically the I've talked about, only shown the few companies. This is the whole landscape, and it's basically, it's not possible for me to show all these companies. But as you can see from the screen itself, right, there's tons of companies which basically are there in as an AI agent in US. We don't have a lot in India, but that there's like literally thousands and thousands of AI agent company right now, which are there in US in almost every field, in every industry, every function, and those kind of stuff, right? So that's another thing which I thought then there I don't know if I have time, but a lot of specific use cases I can take you through. That these are AI agents in BFSI, these are the AI agents in commerce, these are the AI agents that you can look at in healthcare, agents in, for example, in manufacturing, right? I'll share this deck so that you don't have to uh, you know take them through right now. But there are a lot of use cases that we have actually covered, have researched, and therefore we are presenting to you all those use cases here. Now, what the businesses care about metrics, right? So if I'm using agents, what kind of metrics can I expect, right? And these are the metrics that we have heard, and when we have seen some of our clients also achieve, that is 40% increase in task completion rates, 80% process automation coverage, which means that 80% of the process today that I have is actually completely automated, which is huge, right? That's like efficiency metric. Customer support, 70% of query deflection, right? Ratio with high FCR, which is first contact resolution, right? Again, from a customer support perspective, very interesting that 70% of my queries are are resolved by AI agents. 50% faster customer query resolution, which means that a human was able to resolve a query in 1 hour. now basically it's getting resolved in like 30 to 40 minutes kind of stuff, right? So again, it generates higher NPS for your customers, which means that your customers are more happy, they're happier with AI agents kind of stuff, right? Security, there's 25% lesser security incidents. You can reduce HR costs by 30%, while your sales can improve, conversion can improve by 20% because of these AI agents which are in B2B sales, or your search and shopping agents which are giving you high conversion in your traffic and those kinds of stuff, right? So a lot of benefits that you can think of from a metrics perspective, across different metrics that you might be tracking, right? And this is something that that at least in our internally what we have seen is that we have an agent called Magic, and with Grok Click, which is a product, without Grok Click, the human had to take 8 hours to process a catalog in an e-commerce scenario, and now basically with Grok Click, they can only do within like 1 hour. Like it is like very very simple. So it reduces your time, it reduces your effort by 90%, right? That's a huge benefit from when it comes to catalog management in e-commerce, which you can see from an AI agent perspective, right? And this basically is our workforce infrastructure, which is that we talked about Grok Lake agentic workforce infrastructure, using which you can manufacture, deploy, and monitor your AI agents. Most of the use cases, other than probably the coding one, you can use Grok Lake to build your custom agents. We can help you build, so you don't have to really scratch your head how to build my AI agent. And we'll make sure your agents are high in ROI, high in metrics, high in productivity, and those kind of stuff. Right. With that, let me just quickly take questions. We're running out time here. Uh, one sec. I have questions here. One sec. Yeah. So I think from a question perspective, I don't know why I don't see anything, but uh, yeah, I think someone is trying to ask. One sec. I think Mahavir, you want to talk? Yeah, you can. Mahavir, do you have any question? Yeah, Mahavir, do you have any question?
Okay, just I want to understand, like for the industry or the company, it would be how it will assist, like in the physically. Maybe it's like it's a software, so it can give
Mhm.
the data, it can help to analyze the data and everything. They can conclude and give the results. But like especially in the physical kind of works, they
Can
will
you
help.
give an example, like what when you say physical? Like
Like
for
a
example,
retail
most of
industry,
these agents can talk to you, right? So they
like
can.
retail industry, you're talking like retail industry.
Yeah, yeah.
So in retail industry, like customer care or customer support executives, they are helping a customer to take them to the particular merchandise, and then explaining about the product and everything. So in this case, how it will help?
So basically, you can create, for example, an app, right? And
Okay.
sort of an agent the camera, they can just point the camera, and that based on the image, right? That's what the sales agent is also doing, right? Based on the image, saying this has this fabric, or this price is this, or it actually how much I have available, whatever the question the customer may have. So I can take that and say, okay, this product, tell me more about this. So that agent will tell me in that phone that I have, right? That what the product is, what the price of the product is, what is the fabric, or what are the key characteristics or attributes of the product is, those kind of stuff. Right? Can you imagine that? I don't know,
Okay. Yes.
right? Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
So your phone becomes, or your agent in the phone becomes your physical agent from that perspective. Any other question from anyone? uh, A, I think AAR. I don't have your full name, but you want to.
Yeah. Hi, Amal.
Hi, Amal. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I want to understand the AI agent for the customer support side. Let's say if we have some kind of a consumer app
Mm-hmm.
in the retail space,
Mm-hmm.
can we use, when you say using an customer support agent, are you saying that we reduce the number of FTs that we need to deploy, or can we completely eliminate the need for physical FTs?
So usually people are not removing the whole human, customer support.
Okay,
We have seen like 80%, 70% is digital FTE, but 20% are human FTE, and that primarily because you need for some cases your human in the loop is required. That
correct.
human has to be there, kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So as I said, 70% query deflection ratio, right? Which means that 30% are still handled by human somewhere.
Because quite a lot can be managed through a chatbot also. So you're saying this could take a step away further than what a chatbot can handle, as far as
Yeah, see, these are not chatbots. So,
I
so
understand.
chatbot is like a like we when we remember chatbot, we remember that there's a menu and I click and I suggest
Yes,
something. So these are conversational nature. They
conversational AI. Yeah.
yeah, you can talk to them in any language. You can say my order did not come, the delivery I did not get. So then it's okay, what is your phone number? And it's okay, my phone number is this. You can speak in Hindi, in Kannada, whatever local language you have to them,
Okay.
right? And then they will also multi-intent. So if they will say, okay, order status, but okay, order, but what about my refund of my previous order? I did not get that. Or I got a bad product, here's the picture, those kind of stuff, right?
Okay. All right. So much more is possible in
Much
a
more possible,
conversation.
yes. They don't get
In
stuck
a
in
conversation.
edge cases, which previously we used to see a lot.
So if somebody were to, I'll just extend my question a little bit. If somebody were to launch a consumer app today, uh, you would suggest that they should go with what percentage of customer support through agentic AI?
Depending on your, if you have 10 agents requirement, you take eight digital FT
Okay.
agents and two human FT. That's what we are telling our clients.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Any other question anyone has? Yeah, with that, I think we'll wrap up here. And hopefully you like the session. I like agentic AI a lot. We are deep into agentic AI. There are a lot of stuff happening. You should look at AI agents, very, very deeply, and you should try some of these AI agents if you have not tried, just to take that first step of becoming agentic. This is like something which is coming. You cannot avoid. It is going to be there. So better to understand and plan for it today. We are there for you to help you. So feel free to reach out to us. My email is manoj@plos.ai. So you can write to me. You can write to sales@plos.ai also if you have any question related to sales. And we are available on LinkedIn and those kind of stuff. So feel free to reach out to us. With that, I will wrap up here, and I will see you next time with another webinar, and hopefully we will have another interesting topic to talk about. Yeah, thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Have a great weekend.